Basically, it was a religious war, a power war, as it was in those times. Henry was Protestant. His son, Edward, also Protestant. He didn't live long. Went to Mary, Catholic. She didn't live that long. Went to Elizabeth, Protestant. Catholics were pissed off and they rose up and tried to get her out and get Mary Queen of Scots in. Elizabeth wasn't happy about this and went on a rampage and killed a load of people. More than Bloody Mary, actually, her half-sister. She killed a lot of priests, Catholic priests. And that is what happened here. Guys, so today's video I am going to take you guys and oh, there's an airplane coming over. We're going to go back to Tudor times. It's a place where we haven't been before. It's not far from here, it's in Grundleford, and it's going to be a little bit gruesome, I think, but I hope you'll enjoy it. Anyway, let's go. Okay. Woo! What a gorgeous evening to go riding. Got my new helmet. Not used to it quite yet. It feels weird.
Feels comfy.
Oh, it's very comfy. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, I've missed my bike.
I think she's missed you.
I don't think so.
She growled at me when I got her out the garage.
She growls at everyone. That's her nature. She's very growly. She's a sexy beast, you see. Oh, I am. I'm getting totally high on this,
On the glue.
this model cement. There's a travel tip. Don't glue your microphone just before heading out.
I think we should do a video on our travel tips, actually.
Yeah, we should.
What not to do.
Right, should I turn up the cameras?
No, just keep them on. You never know what pearls of wisdom you might come up with.
Pearls of wisdom.
Yeah.
Pearls of wisdom. Thank you, my darling. I wish you actually thought it was that.
It isn't.
You can definitely see it's getting later in the year now because, well, later in the summer because the sun is getting lower and lower.
Yeah, and all your heather's out.
My heather is out. I think I might have to stop for some lucky heather at some point. Flew away when I tried to put it on the bike, so I think I might just shove it down my top. Now I know how amazing it is to hold stuff in there. Do you know, I watched a video with a woman, she was able to hold an entire bottle of alcohol under her boobs. Like, how is that even possible?
Really?
Yeah, really.
But like a bottle of beer or?
No, like a giant bottle of vodka, I think.
Wow.
Like a big one, though. I'll have to show
Under
you.
her boob?
Like in her bra.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but you got some friends like that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They could. I can put my entire head in their bras. They have some giant knockers. So today, where I'm taking you guys is called Padley Hall. Now, it's got an interesting history, and it is just ruins. Okay, well, part of it's just ruins, but we have to go all the way back. The main part of the story that I want to tell you is set in the Tudor times. All very exciting. One of the most exciting times, I think, that we know of in the British history, because it's medieval times and medieval is exciting. No, is it medieval? Yes.
It's where they chop everyone's head off.
It is. Lots of executions and naughtiness and fun times, I think. Lots of backstabbing. So the Tudor, it goes from Henry the 7th, then it's Henry the 8th, Edward, Jane for 9 days, Mary, Elizabeth the 1st. And then that's the end of the Tudor time, and then we have the beginning of the Stuarts. This is Grindleford train station. Show you. Oh, just missed the train there. There we go. And look, that tunnel is from 1893. Oh, got a nice bug splat. It's been christened, so we've got to walk a little way. Oh, covered in bugs tonight.
I know, we got hit by some big ones.
Look at that.
Padley Gorge, Longshore Estate. Oh wow.
So this is Padley Mill, and we're looking for Padley Hall and Padley Chapel. So Padley Hall, unfortunately, is no more. It's just ruins, but it has a fascinating history. So this area, all this area here, was called Padley. It was the Padley Estate, and it was actually given by William the Conqueror to the Bernac family, and they changed their name to Padley to go along with their estate. And they built a Norman house, a grand house, that was replaced, I think in the 1300s, by this big medieval house. And it had a reservoir and fishing lakes and acres, and it was all very beautiful. The Padley family married into the Eyre family. The Eyre man was actually the Sheriff of Nottingham, and well, E-Y-R-E, like Jane Eyre. He was actually Sheriff of Nottingham at the time, and Derbyshire, and yes, exactly, because that was in the 1400s. Yes, he was. So he was Sheriff of Nottingham, and that was the time Robin Hood was around. So the Sheriff of Nottingham owned where we're going. Then the daughter of the heir married into a Fitzherbert family, and Thomas Fitzherbert gave the house to his younger brother John. Now the story is about the Fitzherbert, and it happened in 1588. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So
last week then.
last week, so 1588, right? And so remember how I was telling you about the whole Elizabeth coming down hard on the Catholics? I mean, really hard.
Yeah.
And basically, you weren't allowed to have priests say mass or anything like that. And so a lot of the noble families, because they were still Catholics, the Fitzherberts, one of them. And so the Duke of Shrewsbury came over, I think it was the Duke, Earl of Shrewsbury maybe, Earl of Shrewsbury, Duke of Shrewsbury. He came to get the Fitzherberts, and he found the two priests hiding. He took them, he took the whole lot, the whole family was taken. So you see the houses here.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stone was taken from the original Padley Hall to make the barns. Ah, yeah. Okay. So this didn't used to be a chapel though. See here, look at this. This is medieval. Isn't it wonderful? So this was actually the only thing that's still standing is the chapel. And it wasn't a chapel, it was part of the gatehouse. Now you have to remember, this was a huge house. Oh. No, I was just trying to film. No, thank you. They've got like a mass thing. Oh, no, thank you. I'm actually doing, we're doing a vlog on the Martyrs. On the Martyrs, yeah. It is the right place.
I've actually got the key to the chapel.
Oh, do
But
you?
the trouble is that they've had bats in.
Right.
So,
Hello.
unfortunately, Padley Chapel's very beautiful and very ancient.
Yes,
But
yeah.
unfortunately, because of the bats, there's like bat droppings everywhere. Don't
Touch anything, I
because
understand.
it's not good.
Yeah.
Bats, seriously, you can get diseases from
Absolutely.
touching bat droppings and things. So
No, totally
so just bring me
understand.
the key back.
Okay,
All right.
sure, thank you. So we actually got here at the right time because we've found the woman who has the keys for the chapel. So normally it's only open a couple of times in the year, but we've managed to time it beautifully, and we're able to show you inside of this. Is it this door?
I think
Oh,
it's this one, yeah.
This very, are you filming that?
Yeah.
This very ancient, now you have to think when it was built. It's like 1400. So,
Oh wow.
oh my goodness. So apparently there's bat droppings everywhere. So this was only converted into a chapel in 1933. Before that it was used as a farming shed. And this is...
I can't fit through the door. I can't fit in.
You can't fit in. So we have to be careful because of all the bat.
Oh, you can smell it as well, can't you?
The bat droppings. Now this is ancient. You look at the carvings and all this. This is all medieval. Look at it. Well, not the stained glass, it's because the stained glass is, as I said, they turned it into a chapel in 1933 because of the martyrs. So that is the story we have to talk about with this. There's bat poo everywhere because it's been closed up because of COVID.
Wow.
Isn't it incredible?
It's old.
It is so old. I mean, this is medieval, Brian. It's absolutely incredible. I'm like, I cannot believe we've been allowed it.
That window has 1588 on it.
So special. Oh, okay. So the reason why it's telling you 1588, that is the year of our story. So this was the gatehouse, and so if this is the gatehouse, imagine how big their house was, which now there's just the ruins. So we're going to go up the stairs. Ah, okay. Oh, wow. This is incredible. Look at this. Okay, so the Fitzherberts, they owned this property. Now you can see how massive this is. They were wealthy landowners, but they were very staunchly Catholic. So stamping out of Catholicism, anything that goes against the monarch is seen as treason.
Right.
Okay? And so basically they said that if there were any priests caught practicing or anything like that, that would be seen as treason, as high treason. Now there were two priests of this parish. One was called Nicholas Garlick and the other one was called Robert Ludlam. So it was very normal in those days to hide your priests. In fact, there was a guy called Nicholas Owen, and his main job for his whole life was to build priest holes. And that was hidey holes in these old houses, within the walls, under the floorboards, in the toilets, in the fireplaces, all of that. That was his job, and that's what he did, well, until the gunpowder plot, and then he died on the rack. So have you heard of the rack, what they do?
They stretch you.
They stretch you, and they basically put you on the rack, and they pull you and pull you and pull you until your joints dislocate first and then completely separate. And because they pull you so much, your muscle fibers actually get so stretched that they'll never go back again. So your hips and your shoulders really get pulled out, like they'll be pulled out completely, but your ankles and your wrists and your elbows and knees will just be dislocated. But they said that the sound of it is horrendous because all you hear is popping and cracking of the ligaments and your cartilage, and then eventually your bones just crack.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really painful. They used it as a torture technique, so that once you're out there, they would like pinch you or drip candles on you or even put slivers of coal in between your toes. So they were all caught, Fitzherbert along with the two priests and other members of his family, and they were taken to prison straight away, tried for high treason 2 weeks later in Derby, and found guilty and were hung, drawn and quartered the next day, the priests were. And so what they did is they drew them along to the place where they were going to be hung. When they got to the place, because a lot of people weren't practiced in torture, especially in the countryside, the cauldron wasn't hot enough for the entrails, so they had to wait. And during that time while they're waiting, Nicholas Garlick was preaching, just talking about his faith. Then they had to climb steps and be hung, because the way it works is you go up, you get hung before you're almost dead, so you're not allowed to die. Then they take you down, they dismember you, and they take your male bits and they burn it in front of you. Then they cut down your stomach and take your insides out, and they burn that in front of you. Then you get beheaded, and then your body gets quartered, and then all of those quarters and your head gets placed on spikes in different parts of the country. Do you know who invented that, or who was the first to implement it? Edward Longshanks. And that's actually what he did to, that Prince of Wales guy, and he did it to William Wallace, Scotland. So that's what they did here. And Elizabeth went...
Right here. in Padley?
No, because you have to be. It happened where you come from. So Nicholas Garlick, it was in Glossop.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so not far, and the other guy was from Sheffield.
Oh, jolly.
Yeah, so that's what happened. Fitzherbert, he died in prison. That's John who had the house. His older brother spent 32 years in prison and died in the Tower of London, and that was all for not renouncing his faith. And so the two priests became martyrs. And this is what this chapel has now been converted into a chapel for the martyrs. As you can see here, it reads, "In memory of Thomas Fitzherbert, at one time owner of this place. He suffered 30 years imprisonment and died in the Tower of London on the 2nd of October 1591. And this was in memory of John, the brother of Sir Thomas. Do you know what's hard though, is one of John's sons was the traitor, who was the one that told on him, and the reason why the Earl of Shrewsbury came and took them away was his son.
Was his son?
Was his son,
Was
and
it
he wanted the
intentional?
property. Yeah,
Oh,
he wanted
okay.
the property. And look at this. This altar was recovered from the ruins of the old manor house in 1933. No, this is an altar. Well, we
Yeah,
can't
we
touch
can't see
it
it because of the back
rats.
tooth.
But
Can't believe
it's
how old it is.
fantastic, isn't it? It's so fascinating. But look at all the carvings.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking medieval times. It's just amazing. And they must have been so terrified. But apparently Nicholas Garlick smiled the whole way, you know, being drawn. He didn't want to look upset. But knowing what's going to happen to you, how can you not be terrified of your innards being cut out and burned in front of you before you die? Yeah, it's horrendous. I mean, the fact that we were able to come in here, look how wide the walls are even. So this is the way the walls are made in these old stone houses. So you have the outer wall and the two outer walls, and then they fill up the innards with all of this. And you know what? It lasts. The only reason this isn't here is because people took it down to build other buildings. So there is a fireplace that has survived, but I don't know if it is, if it's the one that they were caught hiding in.
Oh, right.
Probably isn't. They would have had multiple fireplaces. My goodness, you can just imagine the size of this house. And then look, this is a staircase.
Yeah.
So can you see?
Yeah, we'll just start at this side.
And then here's a sink. There's a sink. There's a plug hole.
Can't see you.
And then the fireplace, I guess, would be there. Like, trying to just imagine it. It's really hard. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? And there was a reservoir, a fishing lake. They had acres of land. It was just, it's beautiful as well. You just look over the valley that way. It's stunning. Never think it would have such a violent history. would
History
you?
and a violent past, yeah.
Violent past. This is where they found the ancient altar. They found it over here. There's another sink. Another sink. And they found the altar here.
Oh, the one that's upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it says here as well. Look. The ancient altar was discovered here and was placed in its original position and reconsecrated in 1934, because they used to, see, that was the thing, the priests, you know, when they weren't allowed to say any Catholic masses, so they turned that into a chapel. And so that's where they did the little church services, you see, which was definitely not allowed. And the fact that they've made it into a full chapel now is very special, isn't it? That's it from us and this magical place. So, oh, do I have bat droppings on me?
Probably. Somebody's feeling a bit embarrassed because We met the priest at the church. And he's going to watch her. There's nothing inappropriate on our channel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Talking about gimp suits.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. I thought it was bad enough if my parents see it. Nothing I'd want a priest to see. Holy crap.
Expelling sperm.
No, 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 because that's animal husbandry. That
Yeah.
is biology, dude. What else have I said?
Oh, there's plenty.
Just really nervous I'm going to see the priest again. What can he do?
Hello, it's me. Oh, can I have the key?
Oh yeah, I didn't realise I had my boobs out.